Welcome to episode number 23 of the Pinch Talk podcast, people. My name is Mario. You can see Pat over there. Say hello to the folks.
What's up, you guys? It's good to see you guys. This is our first kind of visual episode we're doing, and we're excited to do this. And have something we can put on YouTube besides something on YouTube that actually moves on the screen.
Yeah. Hopefully, I get like separate video files and I can edit that because I got like a ill fucking like layout and everything, how I want it to look. Like I got it in my head. But anyway, so this is episode 23. Like I said, remember you can check out the podcast on every platform you check out your podcast on. That was my Spanish brain right there, composing a sentence. Now we initially thought of doing, just the previews for the divisions, like we did, just like we did last year, AL East, AL Central, whatever. But then Pat actually told me, like, what if we do something about, all this Mickey Callaway stuff that's going on? And we actually thought about also doing the Kevin Mather thing, all that shit. So basically, Pat brought it up. I said it was cool. So yeah, we're gonna actually change the topic for this episode right here. The previews will be done in the next few days. We'll start uploading them, staggering them and everything. But for right now, let's just do a little bit of this scandal that's going on. You want to begin with the Kevin Mather shit, right?
Yeah,
it's a bit older. Kind of explain to the folks, the situation.
Okay. So Kevin Mather was a former top executive for the Seattle Mariners, Major League Baseball team. He was actually the president of the organization, so he was above Jerry DiPoto, and right below the only person he answered to was the owner. And how can I say this?
He got caught.
Yeah, he got caught slipping. Like that's the only way you could put it. Like this is very, like, we all know this rhetoric was going on behind closed doors. Because if fans are saying it, I know executives and owners are saying it as well. If writers are having these, and journalists are having these opinions and say these type of things, then executives and owners definitely have them as well. I'm not saying all of them, but I would say it's most of them. Considering how most people in the various realms of baseball are anti-player and pro-owner. So basically, it's a whole bunch of things. We can start with Kevin Mather talking about Julio Rodriguez, his second best prospect, and who was a top 30 prospect in baseball probably. Outfielder, really good Afro-Latino guy from the Dominican Republic. I actually don't know if he's Afro-Latino, but he looks Afro-Latino. But I'm going to say Dominican Latino. But yeah.
The main name is Julio, so I would say he is. Probably is.
Yeah, maybe. He's learning how to speak English, and he's only, 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. He might be 21. He might, I don't know. I don't think he's our age because he didn't come out.
He's 20.
Yeah, he's 20. So he's a couple years younger than us, but him leaving the Dominican Republic at such an early age, when he probably wasn't even graduated from high school yet, when he was 16, 17 years old, and then having to move to a new country and focus on the development of his player while trying to learn new language and engaging with new social norms, and not being around majority Spanish speakers for most of his life. Now, he's a cognizant person. He's going to adjust, but Kevin Mather's attitude was just pathetic and awful and just very disgusting and typical. I'm not surprised in any way. And how open he was about it as well was just very weird to me, because it makes you think who else in the front office has those type of opinions.
I'm pretty sure the overwhelming majority of people do. Now, just to give people a recap, and then we can actually get into some, detailed stuff. Basically, he got caught slipping, like Pat said, and then he was put on the Summer Jam screen. Pretty much, because it was all over Twitter. Folks were shitting on him, rightfully so. He said a whole lot of things. The Julio Rodriguez thing to me is one of the big ones. He also said something about damn, I can't remember the name of the Japanese pitcher. He basically said he didn't want to pay. He insinuated he didn't want to pay his translator, and as soon as he did that, he said he insinuated that the pitcher's English got a lot better, which is just a shitty fucking thing to do. But yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff said. I think it's fair if we go over because we got the whole transcript here. Yeah. There was a whole lot of stuff said. So I got all this in front of me. He actually opened up with a statement that I thought was very spot on. He basically said, "No one cares if wealthy sports teams and their owners lose money. Just shut up and move on." So if you're Kevin Mather, I'm looking at the camera right now. Good. That's a good thing. Now, the problem is you stop doing good things right after that statement. Because the man just could not stop fucking up. So, yeah, basically what he said. Well, do I really want to, I don't know if I want to read the transcript. Do you think? Because I don't know if actually, going from topic to topic or just reading the whole transcript.
It's crazy because what he said I want to just talk about what he said about the Japanese player too. He literally picked out some of the most prominent demographics in the organization's history from a player perspective and a fan perspective. Ichiro was the first position player from Japan to play in the MLB, and he played for the Seattle Mariners.
No MLB team has more Japanese fans than
and they have Yusei Kikuchi right now, and they had that Japanese pitcher he mentioned. Seattle has a history of picking up Japanese players.
Yes.
And you say that bullshit? Really? I mean, how? He probably has his bachelor's and master's from Harvard, and you do some stupid shit like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not just stupid. It just shows how protected he is that he can say shit like that and not think nothing is gonna happen.
Let me see if I can find it. Oh shit! Okay, I found the statement. All right, so here's the statement. So they asked him about, what does what do the Mariners do as an organization to help Korean players and Japanese players and all that? What do the Mariners do? My bad, to help them learn English. And he basically, he was talking about, they don't even know English and all that. And he basically said, they have an academy in the Dominican. English classes are mandatory and all that. But apparently, he doesn't really enjoy that Japanese players who are older, when they come over, don't know English. Because he said, and I'm quoting this, "We typically, it frustrates me. For instance, we just rehired Iwakuma. He was a pitcher with us for a number of years. Wonderful human being, his English was terrible." All right. He said he wanted to get back into the game, came to us. We quite frankly want him as our Asian scout, interpreter. What's going on with the Japanese league? He's coming to spring training. And he said, Kevin Mather said, "I'm tired of paying your interpreter." So they're tired of paying him $75,000 a year to interpret.
Not even English. That. Maybe like 50.
Yeah. So they're tired of paying him $50,000 to interpret English. And Kevin Mather literally said his English suddenly got a lot better. Now I don't think you need to be the PC police to know that's some fucked up shit to say. Am I right or not?
No, you're right. You don't violate people like that, especially people you work with.
Exactly. You're running a big fucking risk. So he went on about that. Then what Pat said about Julio Rodriguez. The thing that really stood out to me was they asked him about Julio Rodriguez. They didn't ask him about the man's English at all.
Yeah.
They just asked him about the player. And he immediately went, he has a bigger personality than all you combined. He's loud. And his English is not tremendous. Fam, what are you doing? Why is you bringing that up, though?
You started out cool, and then that whole tangent was terrible, because after that, he brought up Jared Kalenic. And it snowballed on him in the best way possible, because he brought up Jared Kalenic and said Jared Kalenic was mad because Julio Rodriguez was ranked higher than him on Baseball America's top prospect list. What the?
You don't say that shit out,
No,
bro.
no. How are you a president of a Major League Baseball organization? How did you, with this ridiculous opinions and thought process and shit that you will spew to the public, and that you think, how did you get as far as you got? There's no way you didn't luck out, or people just didn't turn a blind eye to your fuckery. And this isn't, and the fact that it's widespread throughout probably a lot of major organizations is the reason why this shit needs to be just thrown into the fucking sun.
Kevin Mather gotta have pictures of someone, because if you're dumb enough to say all this shit out in public, fam, there's no way you didn't fuck up somewhere down the line, somewhere before down the line.
Oh no, he did fuck up. Remember, he had a sexual harassment or assault. Assault accusations, and I think they settled out of court.
What a piece of shit.
It's ridiculous.
More stuff. The thing about this whole Kevin Mather thing, and it kind of feels like we're all over the place because this is just so jarring to like read and all that it's kind of hard to kind of focus on one topic.
It's kind of funny because it's kind of funny because we talk about the executives, they think like this, but when it happened, we're shocked. But I mean, I guess we're shocked at how we shouldn't be surprised, but I mean, I'm just kind of taken aback about how brazen he was. You know, like
I'm more shocked at how bold he was.
I mean, kind of, but I mean, when you're talking to a meeting and you're on a Zoom call, I mean, maybe I'm just being paranoid, but I don't know. Or maybe I'm just underestimating his stupidity.
You probably are, because I mean,
I'm probably being.
Like seriously, like if I'm that big a piece of shit and I'm talking about all this, I'm not doing it when there's a camera recording me right now, fam. Like, what are you doing? This is more because this is more so me being fucking shocked, and not only what he said, which is being a piece of shit, but also how fucking dumb he was in saying it. And I'm saying he was very dumb because we talked about this. He actually gave the MLBPA extra ammo for the CBA negotiations that are going to happen after this season. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so he went on a tangent about Jerry Kalenic and how he offered him a contract, and said that if he signed the contract, he would have brought him up and started his service clock time immediately. And he said they bought out 3 of his free agent years, so it'll have been a 9-year deal. And it would probably be a similar structured deal to the deal for they signed Evan White too, where he came to the majors immediately. He got a good sum of money. I'm actually fine Evan White's contract because
I think it was 6 years, like $30 million, something like that. Pretty sure it was just that, either $25 million or $30 million for all 6 years. Oh wow,
he's from Columbus, Ohio. I did not know that.
Yeah, 24.
Yeah, 6-year major league contract with 3 options.
Holy shit. So teams do this all the time. The White Sox
do this with pretty much all their core players.
Yeah. The Braves did it as well with Acuna and Albies.
Indians tried it with Jose and Lindor, but only Jose took the bait.
Yeah. Pretty much. They dangle all this money because they dangle a whole lot. This is a practice.
They don't dangle a whole lot, but
I mean, comparatively speaking, to what these players, the majority of these players have probably seen in their lives.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's like when record executives sign a rapper to this big contract. Rappers sign the deal because they see all the money up front, but then the label's taking all your shit. It's a similar kind of thing. But yeah. So basically, they tried to do the same thing with Jared Kalenic. Kalenic said no. He bet on himself. Kalenic basically said, "I believe I'm going to be good enough to where I might just make all this money that you're offering me on the 6-year deal. I might just make 90% of it on my first year, or like my third year of arbitration, and I'm going to make more money than that. So he basically said that, and because of that, Kevin Mather said that because he didn't sign a deal, they were not going to start his service time clock right away. Instead, playing that manipulation where teams call prospects up like a couple weeks into the season. I'm not sure exactly what the threshold is, but there is a threshold where service time won't roll in for the whole year. So you have basically another full year of service of team control. Is what happened to Chris Bryant, which is why he filed a grievance, which he lost. And this happened to other guys as well. So basically, Kalenic kind of steered away from all that. And the Mariners, as a result, said, well, we're not going to bring you up to the majors. You may be ready. You may be big league ready, but we're not going to bring you up to the majors anyway. So that's just more ammo for the MLBPA, I guess.
And that's a slap in the face of the fans.
Exactly. All these prospects, you're not going to see them. You're not going to see them. Like, come on now. Why do you develop prospects then? Right?
Right. And it's not like the Mariners don't have money or they have not been willing to spend money. It's just, and then his tone and position about it was just as ethical as you could get. And that's the hilarious part. He was literally about as far across the line as you could possibly go without just jumping off a cliff from a figurative standpoint.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I don't think he expected this to get out for some reason, but it did get out. So yeah, you got your ass fired, boy. Did he say more? Yeah, well, I mean, he did say more, but like more, like real crazy shit. Well, it basically
I'm skimming through the transcript, and there's just so much stuff.
The funny thing was Julio Rodriguez actually kind of tweeted out like a meme to the whole thing, that Michael Jordan meme, where he, and then I took it personally and all that.
Yeah,
which is just good way to alienate your top prospect, G.
Both of them too.
Yeah,
your two top prospects, who are both top 30, 20, top 10 prospects in baseball.
Yeah. Mariners just cannot stop doing dumb shit.
No, they can't.
Pat said the Mariners spend money, and they have. Like, over the past decade or so, they have spent a whole bunch of money on free agents. It's just that it ended up blowing up in their face. So, like, you're really not going to stop being a competent fan, really? It's been 20 years since we made the playoffs, bro.
Yeah, that's the funny part too. And he also talked about Kyle Seager.
Yeah, he did.
He called him overpaid. He's the best.
Yeah,
probably the second best position player of this decade behind Robinson Cano. And how you literally alienated every top individual that plays for your team. That's on a major league. That's a part of the organization. How do you do that? And not just that play for organization right now, but throughout the history or the recent history of the organization. How do you do that?
Not sure, but he managed to do. He
did it so effortlessly, like it just rolled off his tongue, bro. Like he just kept on going and going and going. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
it was like what they say, where it was like watching like a car crash in like slow motion.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
Like, you just saw it. Like, you saw everything. Like, everything break apart. You just saw it. Because he basically said it's going to be Kyle Seager's last year as a Mariner. Called him overpaid. Said this is going to be his last year. Let me see if I can find some other stuff. I mean, there is other stuff, but like the big part of it is the whole racist shit.
Mm-hmm. And the Anglophone bias.
Yeah, exactly. The Anglophone bias and openly admitting to service time manipulation, which I mean, he straight up said that last year, if everyone got hurt and they had to call up prospects, he would have been out there on the field instead of those prospects because they didn't want to start the service time clock. I mean, that's about as open as you're going to get when it comes to service time manipulation, bro. And what's funny to me is they were quick to put out a statement defending Kevin Mather, but then he immediately resigned. So I don't know how that conversation went. I'm pretty sure it was something like, okay, we think we're gonna weather the storm here, and then the shit storm got bad, and then we're like, yeah, fam, you're like, you gotta go.
Yeah, like, and they probably gave him a nice severance package, and they even said thank you. The owner of the team said thank you, and thank you for your 20 years of service when you insult the last 20 years of the history of your franchise.
Yeah. Thank you for 20 years of no
playoffs.
And
that's the microcosm, that's the microcosm of this whole thing. 20 years of no playoffs, 20 years of service. You insulted the last 20 years of history in which you were involved in the organization. So you honestly had these thoughts pretty much the whole time, and even say them to other people behind closed doors the whole time, and it's just not getting out. Mind you, he also has sexual assault accusations which were settled out of court. So they defended him and turned a blind eye to his bullshit before. So who knows how much other shit we don't know about, which is probably a lot. Let's be real, it's probably a lot. And that's pretty much it. And we can segue into this next topic, which is much more relevant because we're kind of behind the 8 ball on the Kevin Mather thing, because that's already been kind of picked apart by the vultures. So
that was recently, actually a nice segue. Let me say that. I'm gonna compliment you on that. That was a nice segue.
Thank you. I'm trying to step my game up, you know. So Mickey Callaway, currently the pitching coach of the Los Angeles Angels, who also was a former manager in New York Knicks and was a part of before that, got his career started in the Cleveland Indians organization, and was hired by Ross Atkins, who is now, I think, the GM of the Blue Jays. And this was in 2010. So this was when the Indians were the Cleveland Pitching Factory was kind of on its way up. Kind of the rise of the prelude to Tito Francona era and stuff like that as well. And pretty much since he became a professional coach, after he became a coach in the MLB, in Major League, in professional baseball, because he started in the minor leagues. He started out in low A or something. And he's also a former player as well. But he wasn't that good. So Callaway started out as a coach, and he kind of was at the forefront of the Cleveland Pitcher Factory head with Derek Falvey and all those other guys. And he climbed the ranks and wound up becoming the supplanted pitcher coach and coach at the major league level he's now. But basically, he has a history of harassing a woman, sending nude pictures, and every organization he's worked for has known about it, and they've turned a blind eye. And if you follow the podcast, or whether or not you follow podcasts, I'm a Cleveland Indians fan, Cleveland baseball team fan, whatever. The name should have been changed instead of them doing that bullshit and patty caking. But it's kind of, I'm not surprised by any means, but it's just really disappointing. What happens to your team, it's kind of frustrating, and it makes you feel bad for being a fan and investing in, especially since I've been so, I've praised the Cleveland baseball teams as a front office and organization. I just praised them on the last episode for their ethics, but they have none. And I should have realized they were lying when Chris Antonetti was talking about this shit, because it's obviously there was no way they didn't know about it. They had a fixer on some Michael Clayton type shit. And there's just one beat writer in Cleveland who said on Twitter, "There's no way Paul Dolan knew about this." Come on, man.
You already know they're gonna start bootlicking.
You said that because he knew that. And mind you, this is someone with a very prominent position too. He has a very large audience of people in the city, and he's this old white guy that would probably tell me to get the fuck off his lawn if he saw me walking down the street or some shit. And it's just very annoying because it's how the fuck are you gonna hold water?
Yeah.
For this organization at a time like this. Like, you really think this is the time to hold water instead of criticizing the organization for what the fuck it just did?
Come on now. Like, Chris Antonetti addressed the media, and when he opened the news conference, he said he was disturbed, distraught, and saddened. Ain't nobody who telling the truth ever opening up a press conference saying all that, man. Come on now. Get the fuck out of here. Like, people knew about this, I'm sure.
Oh, people... He was known as Dick Pick Mick in the New York Mets front office.
Oh, sorry, that's bad, dog.
Bro, like...
It's bad because I laugh? That shit is hilarious to me.
No, I mean, he has a history of this, and everybody knew it. It was the worst kept secret in the organization. Like, a player commented and said that he would check out other players' girlfriends and wives.
Yeah, that's foul. Let me see if I can find some more stuff. That's actually fucking hilarious. Dick Pick Mick. Like, imagine how much of a creep you gotta be for that to be your nickname, bro.
5 women detailed a pattern of sexual inappropriate behavior at Callaway in a span of 5 years, in multiple cities and 3 teams.
Hey, yo. Well, that's a lot of stuff here in this Athletic article.
Not to my knowledge, no, and there have never been any complaints against making this sound with us, either to me or resources department or other leaders. Chris Antonetti.
Line.
You literally had somebody's husband call the fucking team and say, tell Mickey Calloway stop sending dick pics to my fucking wife. And then you have Tito Francona. Oh, and you hire a fixer. You hire a fixer. You're guilty. You are guilty.
You did that shit.
Yeah, you did that shit. And this basically paints the whole picture of the poisonous and toxic norms that are permeated throughout the various realms of baseball, whether it be on the journalism side or on the organizational side or in the and this is just workplace culture in general in America.
Yeah, I mean,
I know
there's a lot of harassment going on. So
yeah, I mean, this is kind of a microcosm workplace environment in general in America, if you really think about it, especially as you see women try to move up the corporate ladder. I kind of said that in the tone for you to agree, but I forgot you live in Spain and shit, and most of you ever seen is like TV shows. You like, I know you know, but
different.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could say women probably face this type of shit in any country. That try to,
like, there's creeps and weirdos everywhere, no matter if they're called Oscar, or if they're called like Jack or some shit. Like, don't matter.
Yeah,
Oscar and Jack are weirdos. So yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Holy shit. There's a lot of like stories here of like wives of like players that like they all got like the same vibe. Like, this dude is like big time womanizer or some shit. Like, when everyone says it, fam, like when literally everyone says it, it's like, okay, you know, you might be a weirdo, bro. That is crazy. That is crazy.
There's no might. He is, but
yeah, that is crazy.
And this is 11 straight years of shit. Like, they literally chronicled all the bullshit he's done since. And then they even went off how he was a womanizer before, when he was. That's crazy.
All I know, listen, I know I laugh about the whole Dick Pick Mick shit. That's because I thought the nickname was funny. Don't get it twisted. That's because I just thought
it was funny, but
the nickname was funny. Oh man,
he needs to be tied up at the hands and the legs and have two Hellcats just go in separate directions as fast as they can.
I would say he needs to be kicked in the balls, like the big heels women be wearing.
Yeah,
big pointy heels.
No, steel toe boot. Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah, he needs to be kicked in the balls with some military boots. Fuck that. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else really on Callaway, because I mean the Athletic article is there. It will be linked down below in the description if any of y'all got a subscription and haven't checked that out. But I don't know if there's a whole lot else to say, fam.
There isn't.
The only thing that occurs. Good.
It just, everything we talked about in this episode just kind of entails and matches the theme of what we talked about last season of the podcast, where there's no reason for you to be extremely pro player. I mean, not to be extremely pro player, and pro journalists and stuff like that, because you see the way these executives fuck up and do unethical shit. And these owners as well, they turn a blind eye, or they help clean it up, or whatever. They enable it by not enforcing ethical standards, by hiring these people and keep hiring these people at the suggestion of the organization, or in the way they operate themselves. Fuck that. The owners are just as culpable for everything about all the pretty much everything we talked about, but. As much as we love the sport, as much as we enjoy Major League Baseball, to the point where we started this podcast and we write about it, not talking about the bad shit and all the cons doesn't make sense.
Dishonest.
Yeah, it will be very dishonest and disingenuous, whether advertently or inadvertently. I mean, yeah.
The thing for me is, I know that there's a lot of folks mad. What about the Kevin Mather shit? Because he said all the things we already knew, but no one really said. He said out loud, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in other front offices that are really upset at it, because all this is going to be used as leverage against them. So watch out for those CBA negotiations, because they're going to be ugly. It
should be, but who knows how competent Tony Clark will be when it's crunch time, because he's already fucked up with the pandemic shit. But he seemed to learn from that this year. So
yeah. So that, and then with Mickey Callaway, I know a lot of folks are always real quick to dismiss, women accusing folks. And I'm not one to say if one woman accuses you, then that's it. Immediately that dude needs to be executed. Because that's how you get folks fucked up.
Yeah, but
just one accusation, but you already got you got to tiptoe around this shit, because it's a real sensitive topic, and I get it, but you can't immediately fucking kill someone based off one accusation, but you also can't completely dismiss the accusation either. I feel like people take the extreme stance way too many times. It's
one way or the other.
Exactly. There's no it ain't no black and white shit, bro. There's layers of gray here. You got to really pay attention. So someone has an accusation against them, you don't need necessarily I'm just put a knife in his bag, but keep that in mind. And if things keep popping up as they do with Mickey Callaway, then yeah, that dude likely gonna be a creep. So yeah, and all this practice, like Pat said, this is kind of how the corporate world really works, really. So, if anyone thought baseball was exempt from that, then I guess, you can live in fantasy world, bro. But, this is going to happen. And I don't think there's really any fix to it. So, aside from getting the weirdos out.
Oh, yeah, it would need to be radical, extremely radical thing. But they're not going to do it. Status quo isn't going to change for another couple, whatever the fuck. Until we see more women in baseball until we see men in baseball that are content with stopping this shit, because you got to have some self-control and accountability as an individual at the end of the day. Yeah, and professionalism as well. Like, why the fuck would you bring that to where you work?
Yeah, like if
Callaway let alone being a creep casually, but like bringing that to work, it just shows how bold and dumb and just
like I can get away with this kind of deal. Yeah.
I mean, whether it's a job that where you just trying to just put some money in your pocket, or it's your passion or career or whatever the fuck, you bring that shit to where you eat. Like, come on now.
Yeah, you got to be an idiot. So that is just something to take.
And you got to be comfortable, and you know you got to know you can get away with it.
Exactly, because you're probably reinforced by some people before.
Yeah,
because like we said, this thing was people knew. So it's like I'm sure Mickey Callaway had this brought up at some point, and folks were like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter. We'll cover it up."
I mean, when
kind of like they did with Peyton Manning, but yeah.
I mean, when you're team president, your general manager, your manager, and probably your owner knows, and then the Mets front office calls you Dick Pick Mick. And then there's probably people in those front offices that probably have friends in other front offices or going to work in other front offices. And mind you, players' girlfriends and wives are going to talk to other players' girlfriends and wives on other teams and all this other shit. And players are as well. Everybody knew.
Folks know.
Everybody knew. Yeah. We saw with the Houston Astros scandal and a whole bunch of other shit. Baseball players talk to each other. They just don't talk to us. Yeah, well, they only talk to some of us.
Front office people, they talk to each other. All these tendencies, all these things, people know.
Yeah, people know.
The media just
and that's the worst part. Oh, the media kind of condones it. There's not no criticism.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like the big outlets do, but I'm talking like.
Oh, I mean, in real time, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like all this shit is kept real down low, just so people, just so people don't lose their jobs, really, because they know, like like Mickey Callaway probably got him and all the weirdos, because there are more weirdos.
Yeah, and
they probably got friends
about that shit.
Like they don't want to lose their jobs and everything, so they want to keep their friend on the job, so they
or be blackballed.
Exactly. So, yeah, the whole conversation of morals and ethics in baseball is very funny to me, because people always get on this high horse about certain shit, but then they let other things slide. This is kind of the whole Hall of Fame discussion.
It's very disingenuous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very disingenuous. It shows no true love or objectivity for the game to ask for tough questions, because you talk to somebody about racism in baseball and Anglophone bias in baseball, they start acting like you just threw acid on their face.
Yeah, like these are valid questions, fam.
Yeah, like, and if these questions are being asked, since these questions are being asked, and it's obvious it exists, considering how baseball's culture commodifies players and individuals that work in front offices to the point where we could get shit like this, where you ignore the ethics of employees because they're productive.
Yeah. He might be a creep, but he gets results.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2021, bro. We should be past this. Like, I mean, we can't even say that, but
I gotta get your point. Like,
I mean, yeah, I know I'm not trying to kind of go that route, because that route just doesn't make sense, because human beings are stupid, etc. But the response wasn't to fire him and have him blackballed from the industry, but you have players and employees that are harassed and individuals that are harassed that have to hide their names and hide who they are, so that way they don't get blackballed or exercised or exiled. Just kind of is another microcosm of the state of the game.
There you go. So, I mean, I don't really have anything else on the topic.
I mean, that's basically it.
Like, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole big ass article on The Athletic. Like I said, you can read that if you want details of Mickey Callaway being a creep. So not only is Mickey Callaway terrible at handling a bullpen, he's also terrible at not being a weirdo. So yeah, I think those are like the two big topics. I mean, Mickey Callaway was trash as Mets manager, bro. How bad you got to be? Jesus.
Yeah,
Wasn't this dude fired in like 1 year?
Yeah, he was there for like 2 years. And he went 80 and 80 each year.
Yeah, he pretty much did.
Like he was like as close to 500 as you could get without being 500. He was like 3 games away.
He was 163 and 161.
1 game away.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the epitome of mediocrity. So yeah, I don't have anything else really on this whole. Are there any other like topics that we're missing or something like that? I'm thinking.
I hope Paul Dolan sells the team.
Oh yeah. Like this is the only way that
I really hope he was involved. I really hope he was involved somehow, so that way.
Yeah.
Oh, if it was a lawyer from his firm. Oh yes, please. I need this to happen.
I mean, be careful what you wish for, though.
I don't care, man. Fuck it. I'll take it. We already have a Go Farm system. Just let these guys just come up, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll pick somebody from any organization that isn't a creep, like they always because they haven't had an external hire for a GM or president position in a long time. Like it's literally been the coaching tree of them.
Yeah, that sounds familiar to me.
But we're competent, so
yeah. That big ass smile on your face, fucking.
You thought you had a friend.
Oh, that's bullshit. That is just big bullshit. Yeah, that's big bullshit. So yeah, like that's pretty much the only way that teams are going to sell. If the owner gets caught up in some bullshit.
Yeah.
So I'm just
or he wants to cash in on his profits.
Yeah. So I'm just hoping that Dick Mulford, like he was like smuggling shit through his meat packaging, like industry or something. Pause, by the way.
Yeah, that one didn't sound right. That was awful. God damn.
That is gay.
Like,
that is crazy. How is a man? Like, how is a man? You got like, a meat packaging industry.
Like
this man an expert on meats and packages. That's crazy. Pause. That is crazy.
He profits off of it.
He profit off the meat. That's crazy. So
I'm a capitalist pig off the meat package.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So yeah, hopefully he gets caught up in some shit where he was like smuggling people through the industry, something like that, and he gets the fuck out of there. So yeah, that's not gonna happen though. Also, weed
dispensaries.
Yeah, actually no, because weed is legal in Colorado. So
no, but you gotta have a permit and certification.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
because I'm pretty sure California does. You do too, because they have to pay taxes on whatever they make.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Also, I wanted to get one last thing out. Just before we end the episode, I just wanted to read a tweet. All right, I wanted to read a tweet from John Heyman. The Rockies are said not to have the budget for any big signing at the moment, so barring some big change, there won't be an extension coming anytime soon for superstar shortstop Trevor Story, as I just said on MLB Network. And on that note, that was episode 23. Be on the lookout for more.
But you paid $50 million to trade. No, like Arenado.
Yeah, exactly. Like they say they don't have money. They got like $41 million on the books for next year. They say they don't got money, and like 20 some of that is Charlie Blackwood's money.
Oh my goodness! Guess what? The Indians don't have any guaranteed contracts on the books next year. It's literally Roberto Perez and Jose Ramirez player options, and then the rest is either players in arbitration or rookie contracts, which are guaranteed.
Yeah.
And that just shows how fucked up the financial system of baseball. I hate baseball right now as much as I love it. I hate baseball as much as I love it. So, and everything we've talked about in this episode and in prior episodes encapsulates the reason for that hate.
Yeah, the financial system kind of deserves its own topic.
Yeah, definitely. But we've gone over that so many times.
It basically rewards losing. Yeah, it basically rewards losing. So, yeah, that's basically all I can say. So with those comments, I hate this franchise. I really do.
Not to mention it's a sports franchise. Also, so its values are gonna increase,
skyrocket,
no matter what the team results are.
Exactly, and people are gonna go to the ballpark anyway. So, yeah, my only message to the Rockies is please change the logo. It's boring as fuck. How you the only team who rocks purple, the best color in the world, and your logo is boring? How does that happen? That's incredible. Anyway, so that was episode 23. And yeah, you can get the podcast wherever you get your podcast, man, and be on the lookout for all the division previews that we're going to have. And we'll probably send out some questions. Folks, listen, if y'all can give us some questions so we can answer them on the podcast to have topics that come from y'all. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't looked at the camera all podcast long. That's funny. I'm just not used to that.
I mean, I'm just looking at you, so like, it's weird because it looks like we're looking down because you're probably looking at your screen too, and we've been reading shit too.
Yeah, because you like on the upper right corner on my screen.
Yeah. Oh shit, that's how it is for me. What the fuck? That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's like kind of switching everything.
Probably because it's your thing.
Yeah, Sandcastle really stepped their shit up.
Yeah.
All right, man. So that was episode number 23. You want to say something to the people to sign off?
I hate baseball.
That sounds like an accurate place to leave the podcast. So long, folks. Guy was really cold. Dick pic, Mick. That's crazy.